Hello, dear friends. So, in DBT, dialectical behavioral therapy, they have a whole section on interpersonal effectiveness. And a big piece of interpersonal effectiveness, according to DBT, is identifying the goal of your relationship interaction. So, it breaks it down into three different goals: objectiveness, effectiveness, which is getting what you want; relationship effectiveness, which is preserving the relationship; and self respect effectiveness, which is taking care of your self respect. So, I'm going to give you some brief examples of what each of those look like, and then I'm going to uh, send you to another video to see what skill can be helpful according to each of those areas. Okay, so an example of when objectiveness effectiveness could be the goal is let's say that I am on the side of the road with a flat tire and it's night and I've called a tow truck person and they come and they say something like really inappropriate or offensive. That would not be the time for self-respect effectiveness for me if my goal was getting safely to a um, uh, uh, tow or whatever, auto shop. So if I am in that situation, I might choose to not address that inappropriate or offensive comment. Just keep my head down, just get myself safely to the auto shop, and then I would later do some work with my therapist or with myself, taking really good care of the parts that were hurt by what was said and wanted us to stand up for ourselves, okay? And just like explain to them that I didn't have the capacity to stand up for them because I was in a vulnerable situation, okay? So, objectiveness, that was objectiveness, getting what I needed, which was safety, safe trip to the auto shop. The next one, self-respect effectiveness. Let's say I'm feeling safe and competent. I am, in a public place. It's daytime. There's a good friend with me, and someone says something offensive. I might say, hey, that's not cool. I don't want to hear that from you. Please, go away. Or I might get my stuff, pack up my stuff, and say to my friend, let's go somewhere else. I don't want to be around this person. Right. And that would be preserving my self respect. And then a third scenario, relationship effectiveness, if someone who's really dear to me says something inappropriate or offensive, and I really want to preserve the relationship, but I did not like what happened, I might say, hey, this was really hard for me when you said that. And I want to talk more about like where that was coming from. Right. So it's same scenario, but three different goals. And you can see how the like environmental or contextual aspect of it kind of predicts where you would go with a goal. And all of these help us to make decisions based off of like what's worth it to us in a situation and what do we honestly have the capacity for? What's our long-term goal? What's our nervous system state like? All of those good things. Because if we just say, like, I always maintain my self-respect, that's going to get us into some dicey situations because there's some legitimate times when it's not safe to, right? Or I always preserve the relationship. Well, there might be times when it's like someone's done something over and over and over and over to you again, and you're like, yeah, I understand they were traumatized as a kid, or I understand they don't have the capacity or whatever, but I'm not going to just stay in the relationship because of that, right? Or there might be times when I'm like, listen, I don't have a relationship with this person and I feel totally safe and competent, and I'm just going to take care of me and my self-respect, right? So there's all sorts of scenarios in which we would choose different ways to go. And we can ask these questions about like what is our goal and what's our current capacity and what's worth it to us to help us make a decision, a choice, rather than trying to stick to a certain rule or just being reactive. Uh, so I will link all of the skills that are useful for these in the description. Okay, lots of love.